Jai Sairam. I want to begin by devoting this to the beloved feet of Sathya Sai Baba. Thank you for this opportunity, and thank all of you for tuning in and listening to my story. So, my name is Sebastien Henriquez, and the main thing that I can extract from Swami is his omnipresence. I feel it day to day, and I just want to share with you some anecdotes that back up the way I feel this about him. So to start it off, it begins with my mother. She was born in Mexico, and she was raised in a Catholic household, but through a blessing, my grandma came back with a frame of Sathya Sai Baba. She got it from someone who went to India, came back, and said that it was a miracle man from there. And so my grandma was intrigued, and by Swami's wish, she took the frame back to her house, and that's when my mother saw the first time his physical form, as we all know and love. And she told me that she automatically accepted that form. She wanted that frame to be in her room, but my grandma was like, "No, it's gonna go in the living room." So it stayed in the living room, but my mom felt that sudden connection with Sathya Sai Baba. And the funny thing is, during that night, my mother had a dream. The first time she ever saw him in that form through the frame, that same night she had a dream of Sai Baba, the image of Sai Baba shifting from him to another man who had a like a turban, like a beard, and was much older. And now she realized that it was Shirdi, but he was shape shifting into those different forms. But she never knew who Shirdi Baba was. She just saw that picture of him. And waking up, she noticed that the frame, Sathya Sai Baba's frame, was filled with vibhuti. So from there, that really put in an impact that made an impact into my mother's world, and she's been a devotee ever since. She's taught me his teachings, his human values. She was a teacher in Balvikas. She brought in bhajans into the house, and so when I was born into a Sai family already, and all around me were just pictures of Sathya Sai Baba, and that's all I ever knew. That's all I ever know. That's what I truly know. She raised us to be vegetarian in a location here in South Texas where it's kind of difficult to be like cultural wise, it's a little difficult, to have that lifestyle. But she preserved through, and Swami's messages and teachings have been by my side throughout my whole life. And I've always wondered, I've always thought that it was that's such a random occurrence. Like, I don't live in India. I don't know his ashram. I don't know what Prashanti Nilayam is. I don't know any of this. And so I always wondered, I always had questions as to, I accepted it. I felt the connection with him. I felt that he was God. I felt that he was, my mother, father. I felt it, but there was still something missing within me. Just more questions that I had. And so, not so long ago, I prayed for a dream, because, as you know, he manifests himself in dreams sometimes, when he gives us our answers. And the dream that I had was that I was me. It was my soul, but I was in a different physical form. It was, I want to say, the early 20s, or 1918s, around that period. And I was not in America. In the dream, I was me, but I was in I was somewhere around like Middle Eastern or India. I don't know exactly the location, but it was around. It was not here. It was not in the Western sphere, and it was hot. I remember being like the climate was very hot. I had different clothes, not the clothes that I would normally wear today, and I saw that, and it just felt like a different era. And I saw in the distance that there was a crowd of people, and I was like intrigued. So I went toward the crowd of people, and going through to see what was happening. There was a lot of ruckus going on, and finally getting to the center point, it was Shirdi Sai Baba performing miracles for these young men, and he looks at me and he manifests vibhuti and I think some jewelry, and we don't speak, but he just stares at me. He just looks at me, and I remember that face very vividly in that dream, and I knew that it was Shirdi, and I knew that it was me, but it wasn't me in this lifetime. And so when I woke up, I had told my mom about the story, and she was very thrilled to hear it, and she helped me link 2 and 2 together, and she was saying that Swami gave me the gift of what my question was as to why was I born in a Sai family, or how did it come about? And it came through that dream that he responded to me, and I take it as basically saying that in my past life I was his devotee through his Shirdi form. And so that was a huge blessing, and that made a lot of sense now, connecting the points together. And that reinforces on what I'm saying of his omnipresence. He's everywhere. Even though far distances, like I'm here in Texas, and all his rich like origins come from India, but yet he's with me at all times, and he's with a lot of Sai devotees that are also in the Western sphere, and we just feel his presence, even though he's not in his physical form. He's always been part of our lives, and I feel very grateful for that, to feel his energy and his love every waking day, step by step, through the decisions I make, or how my schedule goes through the day. When something feels tight throughout the schedule, it happened for a reason, so I was able to do something else, either it sometimes being seva or some sort of his teaching of faith. And it's just having faith that he's there, with you. And so that's what I wanted to share, in my experience, how Sathya Sai Baba has made a huge impact, has left his print in my life and the life of my family. So thank you so much for listening to my story, and I hope you have a blessed day. Om Sai Ram.